For more than 25 years, I've been obsessed with a single question: how do you race faster? And I used to be obsessed with this question for me. I wanted to be the best runner that I could be. And now I'm obsessed with this question on behalf of you. I want to help you run your new personal best. And in this video, we're going to talk about all the things that are necessary before you run that PR. One of the things I've realized over the years is that before you run your personal best in any kind of race, you have to put in the training. We all understand this as runners, but what we often don't understand is that we should be chasing training PRs before we chase our race PRs. That's because if you want to do something you've never done before on a race, during a race situation, you're probably going to have to do something that you've never done before during training first. And this video is going to talk all about training PRs and how to set more of them so that you can become an even better runner where that personal best is virtually guaranteed. Training PRs are very similar to your race PRs. They represent your best ever over some sort of given metric. Let's talk about some of these PRs, and I want to start with some of the most impactful. So if you're gearing up for a PR attempt, one of the best things you can do in your training is to run more mileage. More mileage confers more benefits, up to a point, obviously, but I've found that most runners aren't running enough to fully express their potential. So this next training cycle, let's focus on either a new weekly mileage PR. Even better, I really like to see runners focus on monthly mileage PRs because it's more of a long-term, holistic view of volume. You might make some poor decisions if you're trying to cram a lot of mileage into a single week, but if you think more long-term over the course of a month, you're going to be in a much better position. And this principle holds true if you zoom out even longer and you try to set an annual mileage PR. Try to run more than you ever have over a given year, and you are likely going to continue progressing over the long term. Let's stick with mileage. There's more training PRs to be had than simply run more volume. Another thing that we can do is increase our training frequency. In other words, run more times per week. This usually comes with running higher mileage, but I think frequency deserves special attention because running is a neuromuscular activity. It's not just your lungs and your heart working, it's also your brain sending complex signals to your muscles to recruit certain muscle fibers and then also to relax certain muscle fibers at certain times during the gait cycle. And the more you practice this stride pattern and this practice of running, the more economical you're going to become. So let's try to get up to at least 5 days of running per week. You're going to find that good things happen when you can run 5 days per week. And the more advanced runners, you guys can run 6 or 7 times per week. And the really advanced runners who might be doubling, you're probably going to be running 8, 9, maybe even 10 times per week with a short double run on some of those days. You don't have to run double sessions. You don't even have to run 7 days a week. In fact, I think unless you're very young or very talented, it's probably a good idea to take a full recovery day. But this is another lever that you can pull in your quiver of arrows. I'm definitely mixing metaphors here, but it's another strategy at your disposal to help you continue improving. And there is one workout above all that really helps build endurance. Yes, your overall volume is important. Yes, the frequency of your running is important, but the long run is the most important run for building general endurance. So if you're not doing a long run regularly, let's try to get up to at least 10 miles once a week. Doing a regular long run and making sure that it's up in the 10 plus mile or 16 plus kilometer range is going to be really helpful for building that endurance, and then ensuring that you can jump into any training plan that you want to. Whether it's a marathon plan, a half marathon plan, or anything else, you are going to have the capability to start training no matter what. You don't have to prep for the training like a lot of runners often have to. So that long run is a big cornerstone of any good runner's training program. You know, I'm not that big into supplements, but I do love AG1 by Athletic Greens. I consider it my nutrition insurance, helping me cover all my bases, so I know I'm not missing out on anything my body needs, especially when I'm training really hard. I try to eat really well, but of course, AG1 is that extra security that gives me peace of mind over my diet.
1 scoop per day, and I'm getting 75 vitamins and minerals, prebiotics, probiotics, antioxidants, and adaptogens. You can try it out too at athleticgreens.com/Jason, and they're going to throw in a free year's worth supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs. Check it out at athleticgreens.com/Jason.
All right, now that we've talked about the endurance side of training PRs, trying to run more frequently, being more consistent with a long run, let's talk about the speed side of training PRs. If you're not regularly running some form of strides, whether those are regular strides, uphill strides, maybe you're doing hill sprints, maybe you're running fly-ins, there's a lot of different types of strides or stride equivalents that you could run in your training. If you're not doing them, just start with regular strides. There's a link under this video to learn exactly what those are. This is going to help you get comfortable running very fast. One of the best training PRs that you can implement is to run strides regularly. And speaking of speed, let's do a regular workout. Every week, let's do some type of faster workout. It doesn't have to be very grueling. I mean, if you're in the base phase of training, or if you're in the early stages of marathon training, your workouts shouldn't be overly difficult. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't do a workout most weeks of the year. Yes, you're gonna have some weeks, maybe after a marathon cycle, or when you're first coming back into regular running, where you don't want to do a regular workout. But usually, you're gonna wanna do a weekly workout. Start with easy sessions. Maybe you do a light hill workout or a threshold session. Maybe you're running some slower aerobic paces like your half marathon or marathon race pace. These are workouts that are going to maintain some semblance of fitness, even if you're not running a lot, even if you're just in the building stages. I've seen a lot of runners go months without running a faster workout, and I think it's a mistake. If you spend any long period of time away from mileage, workouts, strides, etc., you're going to experience some level of detraining, and then it's going to be even harder to get back into it. So if you're not doing that workout regularly, even if it's a really easy one, this is your wake-up call to start doing it regularly, and you will end up thriving because of it. The next training PR that you can focus on is probably one that you're not going to like. I know I don't, and that's cross-training. Look, we're runners. We like to run. We would prefer to go running rather than getting on the elliptical or start some pool running or cycling. But the value of cross-training is undeniable, partly because it can really enhance your aerobic fitness without the risk of injury. So if you're someone who finds that you get injured once you go beyond a certain mileage level, or you're someone who just can't take the pounding of running, cross-training can be a really valuable option for you because it is supplemental to your running. So while you are working on the training PR of trying to run a weekly or monthly or annual mileage PR, you can also work on the training PR of doing the most amount of cross-training per week. Because let's face it, you're probably not going to get hurt doing some pool running or the elliptical or cycling. These are 3 of my favorite running-specific forms of cross-training. And if you're doing an additional 1, 2, 3 hours on top of the normal mileage that you're doing, you are going to find that your aerobic fitness is just blooming, and you are really going to find that workouts get a lot easier, your endurance grows, and you become a lot better runner because you're doing very low injury risk cross-training on top of the mileage that you're already doing. My college running coach, my cross-country coach, used to tell us that think of cross-training as supplemental training. That's what he liked to call it, because he didn't think of it as something that you did in place of running. You did that when you were hurt. But when you were healthy, you would cross-train as a supplement to your running. It was in addition to your running. And that really helps your endurance and helps you race a lot faster. Okay, our final training PR that we're going to work on today is the addition of strength training to your schedule. If you're not strength training regularly, let's begin. And there are 3 ways that you can add this to your schedule depending on where you're at with your current strength training program. So number 1, if you're not doing any strength training at all, let's start by sandwiching your runs. Let's do a dynamic warm-up before you go running, and then a very short body weight strength or core routine when you finish running. This is a pretty easy setup for most runners. to get into, and I really like this concept because it really drives home the point that every day we should be working on more than just our running. The dynamic warm-up is going to help with athleticism, coordination, then of course metabolically priming you for that run, and then the post-run core strength workout is going to help you cool down while building strength. There's links under this video to both routines, a warm-up routine and then a variety of core and strength routines that you can plug right into your training afterwards. But if you're already doing that, if you're already doing some body weight training, let's get into a more formal program, not just doing a routine after each run, but doing a progression of exercises that lead to somewhere specific. This is the difference between running every day and then following a formal training plan. So something like bodyweight power, which is our bodyweight training program, is going to be really helpful because it progresses over the course of time and helps you really bring your fitness and your strength from where you are right now to almost a peaking race-ready form of fitness. That's going to help you race faster. Now, if you're real serious with your bodyweight training, the next step is to get into the gym to actually do some weightlifting. This is where I think we can start labeling this ideal, best case scenario strength training for runners when you're warming up dynamically, you're doing some bodyweight routines after most of your runs, but then twice a week, you're getting into the gym to do some actual weightlifting. This is going to really help with injury prevention, building your strength and power, coordination. There are so many benefits of strength training for runners, especially when you get into the gym. If you're not sure where to start, but you want to start, try our high performance weightlifting program, where I partnered with a weightlifting coach for high level endurance runners here in Colorado. And then we put this all together with elite runners to show you exactly how to progress in the weight room. Okay, runners, so before you're gonna set off on your journey to set that new personal best of yours, I hope this video was helpful because it provided you essentially a menu of options to choose from depending on where you're currently at. So if you need to work on faster workouts, if you need to work on volume or strength training or the frequency of your running, these are all things that are going to help you become a more capable runner. So let me know under this video which one you plan on working on the next time you start a training cycle for a new personal best. And if you have any questions about either one of these strategies, leave them under this video and I'd be happy to help. But also, don't forget, there's a lot of resources that I mentioned in this video linked to underneath. So check out the description. I'm going to talk about dynamic warm-up routines, strength routines. If you want to check out bodyweight power or high performance lifting, there's also lessons on mileage building, on trying to run more, setting up your week of training. You know, if you're going to run 50 miles a week and you've never run that before, how do you set that up on a weekly basis? What is the pattern of mileage and long run and workout and how that all works together? Lots of links under this video because this video did include a lot of very specific pieces of advice. I hope it was helpful for you, and let's get after our next personal best.